Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation worship service. We welcome each of you to this celebration of love and to this congregation. The OUUC community comes together in the mutual promises and possibilities of our covenant. We envision an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. We are so glad that you are here. My name is Alicia Seegers Martinelli. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. Leading worship with me today is our Director of Community and Faith Development, the Reverend Sara Lewis, and Troy Fisher, our Music Director. This service is being recorded and streamed live on Zoom and YouTube. For those of us here in the sanctuary, you can see subtitles and view the chat on the screen. If you'd like to use one of our hearing-assisted devices, please check in at the tech table. And we ask that you turn off any sound on your devices, and if you can, turn off Wi-Fi. We welcome each family and person to decide how they want to participate here. There is an area with comfy toys and comfy chairs and fidget toys of all ages. Please use them. All children are welcome in the sanctuary. And there's also nursery care and a story time program for children in the classroom wing. We are a multi-generational community and we value our young ones, so welcome all. We are grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen here today. Thank you to the ushers and the greeters, the kitchen crew, the tech team members, and all who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have the chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Sara. For those online, we invite you to go into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. For those in person, please feel free to stay for fellowship and coffee in the Commons. Now, let us open our hearts and our minds as we prepare for worship. Welcome, everyone. It is good to be together. This morning and every Sunday morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. So please join me as we light our chalices together. Here in the sanctuary, Liz will light the chalice with these words that our children's classes say each week here at OUUC. There are hand gestures, which Reverend Sara will demonstrate, and we encourage you to practice these gestures as you repeat the words. So please repeat after me. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of loving hearts. This is a church of helping hands. Together we care for the earth and work for friendship and peace in the world.
Our opening words are offered by Dan Lambert as we proclaim worth. You are welcome here, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background. You are welcome here to join us as we proclaim worth in our spiritual journeys. You are welcome here to join us as we sing songs that uplift our very beings. You are welcome to join us in community as we learn, live, and love together. All are welcome as we worship that which gives us each meaning and value. Let us worship together.
Good morning. Let's sing together. Our opening song, the words for it are found in your order of service and not in the hymnal. This is Mamousa's We Shall Be Known. And I'm just going to call out the first melody and then have you sing it back. And we've sung this song, but it's been pre-COVID that we sang it, huh? So we'll give it another try. And then like the last Mamousse piece that we did, Old River, then we'll see about adding some harmony, huh? Which is fun. We shall be known by the company we keep. We shall be known by the company we keep. By the ones who circle round to tend these fires. By the ones who circle round to tend these fires. Now put that together. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who gather round to tend these fires. Then it sounds similar to before. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. Try it. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. We'll do that a couple times, just that first part. And as soon as you feel like, gosh, I know that and I want to harmonize, it doesn't matter what your harmony is. It can't be wrong. Here we go, all together. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change from life in deep within the earth again. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. Then we get to the second part. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. Try it. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Let's take all that second part, and we can start adding some harmonies here, huh? I know, guys, I'm singing up high in the Mamoose key. You can be down there. It is time now. You can be clear down there. Here we go, all together. It is time now. Ready, and it is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Right to part one. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the earth. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. And it doesn't hurt during congregational singing to smile. Some of you are so worried that someone else might hear you sing. We want to hear you sing. We want to hear you sing. Let's do it one more time, and then we'll take it home. Ready? And we go. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. Oh, it is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. And a little tag. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. And we'll come back and sing this later in the service, so hang on to it. Thank you.
This morning, our story is called Mind Meets Body by Eric Walker Wilkstrom. Once upon a time, there was a head. Just a head. There was just a head. By sheer force of will, or maybe it was some kind of psychokinetic energy, the head was able to move itself around. It opened doors, picked up things. In fact, the head could do just about anything you and I can do. And to hear the head tell of it, life is pretty good when you're a head. No stubbed toes, you never hurt your funny bone. No love handles, no stomach aches, no tense shoulders. Of course, there are also no dips in a hot tub, no lazy days and freshly washed sheets. And while the head could eat food and taste it just as you or I, it could never feel satisfied and full. After a while, the head came to realize that it was incomplete. So when one day the head saw a body that had no head of its own, the head got really excited. It floated over and suggested that the two might get together. Of course, the body had no ears and could only use body language to communicate. But eventually, the two of them made a connection. And when the head felt what it was like to have a body, and when the body felt what it was like to have a head, what else could they do? And the two have been dancing through life ever since.
So, how many of us are living like that head that had no body? How many of us can identify with the saying, being stuck in your head? We Unitarian Universalists have a reputation, possibly well-earned, for being a heady bunch, with some jokes floating around out there like, why are Unitarian Universalists bad at congregational hymn singing? They're not. This is just a joke. And the answer is because they are reading ahead in the lyrics to make sure they agree with them before they sing them. Yeah. Or here's another joke at our expense. Why don't Unitarian Universalists get to heaven? Because right before the gates to heaven, there was a sign that said, discussion about heaven this way, and they all chose that instead. Of course, all jokes aside, it's not always a bad thing to be a head. Our heads do some very important things, like thinking, learning, communicating, dreaming, visioning, remembering, imagining, experimenting, and observing. In our lives as a faith community, we use our heads to create good policy and procedure, to plan and to organize, to problem solve together, and sometimes to engage in healthy disagreement. And in our spiritual lives as individuals, the head is an important place of big questions and important ideas. Where did we come from? What is the purpose of life? What is the nature of the cosmos and our place in it? What do words really mean? I love exploring those ideas and those questions, and I love learning new things, and being up in my head is a happy experience for me. It's not a bad thing at all to have a head. In the chalice lighting words that we say in the children's classes here, we say, this is a church of open minds. Here, we seek to learn new things. We welcome new experiences and ideas. And ideally, we're not open the way that perhaps, say, the British Museum is, where we're open to housing all the treasures of the world. No, we're not just collecting ideas and sticking them into our existing frameworks, our openness to new ideas also means that we are open to changing our minds. When we know better, we do better, as Maya Angelou says. Yes, it is not a bad thing at all to have or to be ahead. We came together in community this morning, bringing all that is in our lives. In this space, we share from our hearts what brings us joy and sorrow, and what brings us worry and delight, what makes us afraid, and what makes us dance. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. If you would like to send in something to share, please look for the link on the online worship page on the OUUC website, and we'll bring it into the service next week. You will hear a drum beat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. Right now, I invite you to take a breath as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and community today. Curtis and Wendy Tanner share that their beloved stepfather, Roger Tanner Theus, died peacefully in his sleep on Thursday. Curtis, his mother Nancy, and Roger were married for 24 years. Curtis and Wendy were grateful to have visited them in Missouri this past spring and cherish the time that they were together. Roger will be remembered as a kind and gentle man. Curtis and Wendy, we send our love and care to you and your family as you mourn this loss. For those online, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat on your screen. This is the time to share all that you wish, joys and sorrows, and whatever else is shared from the heart. Those in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen. And for those in person today, I invite you to come forward if there's something that you would like to bring into this community. You may place a stone into the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Please come forward through the center aisle and return by the side aisles. Let us hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. We will place one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts that remains unspoken. I invite you now into a time of reflection and heart sensing. Start by sitting comfortably, closing your eyes if you are comfortable doing so. And let's take a couple deep, intentional, cleansing breaths. Now, focus on your heart. You can put your hand there if you like. Feel your own heartbeat. Your heart is beating here among all the other human heartbeats of all the rest of us. Just feel and listen to that heartbeat. What is held in your heart? Notice any feelings or messages that your body is giving you. Just notice them. No feeling is wrong and no feeling is right. All are just part of being alive. Just notice. And then, if you choose and if you feel resourced enough to do so, invite into your heart some of the sharings and feelings of others, those who have shared here today or others that you can think of. Feel with and for others, their sorrows and illnesses and losses, their celebrations and joys, their worries and confusions. We all feel so much as humans, and we are not alone. Others are here with us. Just hold others in compassion in your heart for a moment. And now invite into your heart the knowledge that you are surrounded by and filled with love. Depending on your theology, know that you are a miracle of the universe, a child of God, a beloved, a being of inherent worth. You are loved, and let that feeling in and let it fill you up. And now invite in the knowledge that you are a force of love. Send your love out into the world. Picture someone or something or a place that you would like to send your love to. Hold that imagining in your heart and just send the love out. Make a physical gesture if you want to. Blow a kiss or give a little bow or put your hand on your heart and send it out. And then as you are ready, return now to this space, this place, these people, and your body right here. Open your eyes, look around the room, either physical or virtual. You are here with loving heart. Blessed be.
I invite you to remain seated and sing together hymn number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. Though I may speak with bravest fire and have a gift to all inspire and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless
In this community, we say that we are sharing from our hearts. This language began last year as we moved away from the old language of joys and sorrows to instead acknowledge the huge complexity of feelings that we may be holding and bringing into this space. Confusion, fear, anger, disappointment, trepidation, and much, much more. In her book, The Atlas of the Heart, author Brené Brown shares that her organization has surveyed thousands of people, asking them to name all the emotions that they can both name and recognize as they are having them. And the average response is 3. Just mad, sad, and glad. Brown goes on to write, quote, "When I think about this data, I think back to a quote from the philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein that I came across in college that says, 'The limits of my language mean the limits of my world.' What does it mean if the vastness of human emotion and experience can only be expressed as mad, sad, or glad? What about shame, disappointment, wonder, awe, disgust, embarrassment, despair, contentment, boredom, anxiety, stress, love, overwhelm, surprise, and all the other emotions and experiences that define what it means to be human?" End quote. As humans, we are emotional beings. And to be literal, we know that these emotions aren't really housed in our hearts. Our actual heart is just pumping away and moving vital blood around our bodies. But those emotions aren't just a matter of brains either. Really, we feel with our whole bodies. And the body experience, also called the somatic experience, can be an important place of knowing and wisdom if we let it. These questions of feeling are powerful questions for a faith community. They can be the basis for our sense of calling, of mission, and of purpose. They often are at the core of answering why we do what we do. I'm not so much motivated to earth care because of what I believe or think, as much as I am motivated by what I love and value. Faith itself is a quality of the heart much more than the head, something that is felt more than understood. As a faith community, we are fond of the apocryphal quote credited to Francis David that we need not think alike to love alike. We may have different ideas, but we try to align the callings of our hearts. In our children's chalice lighting, we say, "This is a church of loving hearts." We make a practice of love, offering love to ourselves, each other, the wider world, and all of existence. We are a people who have big hearts and many, many feelings.
Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. The offering collected here does two things. It supports the ongoing work of OUUC, which is also supported by your regular pledges. And this offering supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our Share the Plate recipient for the month of September and October is the Olympia Free Clinic. The Olympia Free Clinic is a volunteer-based organization where underserved community members receive healthcare services and linkages to community resources within a caring and respectful environment at no cost to them. While most of the services are provided by volunteers, our contributions go to support vaccination efforts, purchasing medication, medical supplies, and equipment. You can participate in the offering by making a donation online through the church website or by texting the number that will appear on the screen. You can also mail a check to OUUC or place your offering in one of the baskets being passed around by the ushers. Our community partners continue to need our financial support. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
What does it mean to join together in service to something greater than ourselves? Just what does this faith community call and equip us to actually do in the world? In our children's chalice lighting, we say, "This is a church of helping hands." Not just hands, of course, but hands are such a lovely metaphor for the work that we do in the world. Hands that weed or plant or repair or build. Hands that cook or clean, hands that serve, that heal, that comfort. Hands that make or mend. Hands that reach out to grasp the hands of others, even across distance or difference. As a faith community, we can live into the old saying that many hands make light labor. By sharing, by coming together, we can end up accomplishing so much more than we would if we were working alone. Through the work we do, we can manifest our thoughts and feelings into something real in the world. In the preface to the book, Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet, Thich Nhat Hanh's students share that he would say that meditation was to look deeply into the heart of reality, to see things that others can't see. And then he would say that once there is seeing, there must be acting. For otherwise, what is the use of seeing? Our hands are literally and metaphorically how we act on the world. Here, we are a people of helping hands.
Let's sing it together again, shall we? Try to find the words there in your order of service. I would invite you to rise in body and or spirit. Feel your whole body out while you're singing it. Loose joints, open throat. Here we go. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these vines. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change, a life from deep within the earth. It is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in. Oh, let's do it again. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these vines. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change, a life from deep within the earth. It is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Thank you. Please be seated.
Put it all together. When we put it all together, we have something called praxis. Praxis, in common dictionary definition, simply means practice as opposed to theory. But praxis, as an educational concept, is an iterative, reflective approach to taking action. It is a movement back and forth between theory and practice, where each inform and influence each other. Praxis is sometimes called informed action, with the actions taken being informed by theory and learning, and then the action in turn informs and can cause change to the theory. Now, I think this is probably how humans have learned for as long as we have been human. We've had an idea, we've tried it out, we've learned from the results and the experience, and we ended up with a new idea, which would then lead to new action and trying out something else, etc. It's a cycle, an ever-ongoing, interdependent dance between our head, heart, and hands. In our faith community, we have opportunities for all of this. We have learning and education programs and other ways to engage our heads, and we have spiritual practices and community life and other ways to engage our hearts. And then we have many, many ways to serve and to act on our faith and other ways to engage our hands. No one way is better or more important than any other, although some of us may have our preferences or typical ways of being. Some of us may be more dominant as heads or hearts or hands. But all of us are also all three, and we can cycle through our own praxis with each informing the others. We are whole people, a blend of it all. In more academic language, our being is a blend of cognition, affection, and volition, or will to take action. In very academic and Christian language, which some of you will need to put on your translator and translate some of the words, and some of you may choose to just let this wash over you. But Thomas Groom writes in his text, Sharing Faith, quote, "It seems appropriate to its history and adequate to how it is likely to be heard to propose wisdom in Christian faith as the learning outcome of Christian religious education. Like conation, wisdom can be used to refer to a holistic human activity that includes cognition, affection, and volition, and that engages and shapes people's whole being in ways that are historically responsible and life-giving for self and others. Wisdom pertains to one's identity and agency. It is realized in one's very being. Such wisdom arises from reflection on one's own life, from dialogue and the example of other wise people, and from reflection on God's wisdom as revealed through Scripture and tradition. It requires the context of dialogue and testing of a wisdom community. Pedagogically, Christian wisdom presents the task of informing, forming, and transforming people in the character of Christian faith. And the truly wise are those who so live." All right, let's unpack that. All right, so Groom calls it wisdom, which seems like a good enough choice of word to describe the goal or learning outcome of our own faith development programs and our UU faith community. And then Thomas Groom says that, quote, "Wisdom can be used to refer to a holistic human activity that includes cognition, affection, and volition, and engages and shapes people's whole beings in ways that are historically responsible and life-giving for self and others." So in other words, wisdom is our thinking, our feeling, and our will to act, and it shapes our whole being, making us into people who are historically responsible and life-giving for ourselves and others. We think, feel, and act, and by doing so in wisdom, we make the world a better place. Groom goes on then with, "Wisdom pertains to one's identity and agency. It is realized in one's very being." So wisdom is not something that we just think or just do. It is something that literally transforms who we are and becomes part of our core identity. Wisdom is not a shallow practice, but an entire way of being. And then Groom says something I think is very important. Such wisdom arises from reflection on one's own life, from dialogue and the example of other wise people, and from reflection on God's wisdom as revealed through Scripture and tradition. It requires the context of dialogue and testing of a wisdom community. So one of our sources of wisdom is reflection on our own life and our own experiences, but this is not a solo act. We also are informed by dialogue and the example of other people, by our understanding of other sources of wisdom, such as scripture and teachings, tradition, history, and it all requires being in a faith community that can be a place for us to bounce these learnings off others and have our wisdom tested and informed by others in the community. Groom then finishes this thought, and again in very Christian language, but we can translate it to other faith lenses. Pedagogically, Christian wisdom presents the task of informing, forming, and transforming people in the character of Christian faith, and the truly wise are those who so live. So for us, our pedagogy or learning and teaching methods has the task of informing or giving us new knowledge, experience, and ideas, and it also has the task of forming or shaping who we become as we grow, and finally, transforming or changing us, sometimes radically so, when we find wisdom that contradicts how we were before. And all of this is in the service of moving us toward the character of faith that is responsible and life-giving for ourselves and others. And the truly wise are those who so live. The truly wise among us, and I believe we can all be truly wise, are those who live as heads, hearts, and hands. The truly wise way to be is a holistic, whole self with thinking, feeling, and doing. The process is a cycle of reflective thought and action, each informing each other. And it's all done in community, where we can support and challenge as needed. OUUC has all of these opportunities in the community of support and challenge. Sign up for a class or a study circle. Come for worship and spiritual practice. Find community at a dinner or in a social group. Volunteer on the book sale or the grounds cleanup or to help cook dinner. Join the new anti-racism or economic justice teams or the existing environmental action team to work on moving our faith into action in the world. Reflect on how your learning leads to your actions and vice versa. Discuss your ideas and your learnings with others. This is praxis. This is our practice. May we move forward in ever-growing wisdom and wholeness. So may it be.
Do not leave your cares at the door. Do not leave them there when you come into this place. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. When you've been in sorrow and joy, there's a place for them upon the altar of life. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. This is a place of grace, a place of losing and finding our way upon the winding road, meeting and parting, stumbling and starting over.
If you have a chalice or candle at home, please join me as we extinguish our chalice with these words by Cynthia Landrum. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we are together again, friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving. May we move in peace.
And before we sing our unison benediction, I have a few announcements. Thank you to those who attended the Party for Peace and the Peace Poll dedication yesterday. If you missed it, please check out the new poll gifted to the congregation by Reverend Mary. It's right outside here. This coming Thursday, all are invited and welcome for our weekly community dinner at 5:30 p.m., which will be followed by spiritual practice with Reverend Sara at 7 p.m. Spiritual practice will also be streamed for those online. Books, Brownies, and Beans is back, live and in person this year. Save the date. Save the date, November 5th, and start thinking about how you can help make this an over-the-top success. We welcome brownie bakers, book sorters, cashiers, setup, teardown crews. Opportunities to sign up and information about donating books will start next week, so stay tuned. After coffee hour today, please return to the sanctuary or on Zoom for a presentation by Lee First, Twin Harbors waterkeeper, titled Chehalis River at the Crossroads, Why a Flood-Controlled Dam is the Wrong Solution for Flooding in the Chehalis Basin. This event is sponsored by the OUUC Environmental Action Team. There are many opportunities to stay connected to our community. Please check the website regularly. And if you have questions or need help, check in with a member of the staff. Thank you.
I invite you to rise in body and our spirit, and let's sing together our unison benediction, the words for which are found in the order of service. May you know the Spirit in you. May you know the Spirit in me. With loving and healing, doing and being. May you know the Spirit in all. Could have done it one at a time. Put your hand in, put your hand in. Put your whole self in.